Hearing number 8187. This hearing, numbered 8187, is being conducted pursuant to Chapter 8.97 of the Revised Code of the City of St. Louis. The applicant, Amanda Jensen, Be My Canvas LLC, doing business as Lucky Cat Studio, is proposing to operate a tattoo parlor at 1974 through 76 Arsenal. Due to the nature of the business, the applicant is required to hold a license and permit issued pursuant to Chapter 8.97, in addition to any other requirements under the law. As outlined in Section 8.97.070 of the Revised Code of the City of St. Louis, the Board of Public Service may approve such application after a hearing if it is satisfied that the applicant is of good moral character and the applicant has given evidence that he or she will be able to meet and operate the premise in compliance with all regulations and laws governing such premise, and the applicant is a resident of the state and his or her neighborhood, consent petition is in due form, and the applicant's premise are not within 500 feet of an elementary school. The Board of Public Service has in its possession the following documents which are being introduced into evidence. Item 1, a certified copy of Chapter 8.97 of the Revised Code of the City of St. Louis. Item 2, the application for tattoo parlor submitted to the board secretary with the drawing of the proposed premise. Item 3, a copy of the plat and petition of consent. Item 4, copy of a letter from the Director of Health dated March 3rd, 2016, to the Board of Public Service finding no evidence of health code violations at the facility. Item 5, a memo from the zoning inspector, Myra Turner, dated October 12, 2015, finding the plat and neighborhood consent petition to be in due form and satisfying the requirements of Chapter 8.97 and finding the business not within 500 feet of an elementary school. Item 6, letter sent to the applicant dated March 29, 2016, providing notice of today's hearing. Item 7, a copy of the public notice of today's hearing. Item 8, occupancy permit issued for 1974 through 76 Arsenal for the use as a tattoo parlor. Item 9, one letter of support of the proposed business. Item 10, 2 emails of opposition of the proposed business. At this time, the board will swear in and hear from the city representatives present, followed by the applicant and those in support of the application. The board will then allow those in opposition, if any, to address the board. Your testimony is being recorded. When you come forward, please state your name and address and be sworn in. As you testify, please direct your comments to the board and not to those in the audience. Members of the audience are asked to remain silent and not coach the witnesses. During your testimony, members of this board may have questions for you. Following this hearing, the board will proceed with its regular agenda. Following the conclusion of the regular agenda, the board will deliberate, discuss, and vote on this hearing. The board asks the zoning inspector to please come forward and be sworn in. Okay. The board asks if a representative of the health department is present, please come forward and be sworn in.
Raise your right hand, please. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Would you state your name for the board, please?
My name is Heather M. Gassama.
Did you perform the inspection for the proposed tattoo parlor at 1974 through 76 Arsenal?
Yes.
Okay. Did you determine that the proposed tattoo parlor complies with all applicable health, safety laws, and regulations as promulgated by the Director of Health?
Yes.
Okay. Does the board have any questions for the Director of Health representative? Thank you.
Thank you.
The board asks the applicant to please come forward and be sworn in.
Would you raise your right hand, please? Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Would you state your name for the board, please?
Amanda Jensen,
Your address.
2627 Armand Place.
Good afternoon.
Hi.
Are you a resident of the state of Missouri?
Yes.
Okay. How many tattoo chairs are being applied for?
4.
Are you aware that any increase in the number of tattoo chairs must be applied for with this board?
Yes, sir.
Okay. How many employees will you have at this establishment?
I'll have 2 other artists, so they're independent contractors. So me and just 2 other artists.
And do all the tattoo artists have their Missouri state licensure?
Yes, sir.
Do you have your necessary Missouri state licensures?
Yes, sir.
Will you be able to comply with all the provisions of Chapter 8.97 of the Revised Code of the City of St. Louis, including the following? And I'll go through each one and you can answer.
Okay.
Item 1, do you understand that as an operator of this tattoo parlor, you're at all times responsible for the orderly conduct of the tattoo parlor, and that the acts of any agents, servants, or employees in the operation of business are your responsibility?
Yes.
Item 2, pursuant to Chapter 8.97, tattoo parlors may only be open between 9 a.m. and 1 a.m. What are your proposed hours?
Our proposed hours are 10 a.m. through 7 p.m.
Okay. Item 3, tattoo parlors shall be kept clean and well lighted so that the rear of the premise is plainly visible from the front of the premise. Will you be able to maintain the tattoo parlor in this manner?
Yes.
And item 4, no tattoo parlor shall allow or permit any loud noises, boisterous or disorderly conduct in or around the premise or any grounds of such premise, and the tattoo parlor shall prevent loitering of persons on the premise or around the grounds of the tattoo parlor. Will you be able to comply with these regulations?
Yes.
Does the board have any further questions for the applicant? Thank you very much.
I have one.
Oh, sure.
You said you're applying for 4 chairs and you have 2 other artists. What are your plans for that fourth chair?
I'm just leaving it open just in case we have another artist join our team, but we want to start off small. So if there is another chair that is open right now, it's just an open station. Eventually, maybe I'll hire on another artist, but right now, just me and the 2 other artists starting.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any further questions from the board? Thank you. Okay. At this time, if there's anyone else in favor of this application who wishes to testify, please come forward and be sworn in.
Hello. Would you raise your right hand, please? Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Would you state your name for the board?
My name's Amelia McCormack,
Would you state your address, please?
1013 Sanders Drive.
Go ahead.
I just came to speak in support of this tattoo studio. It's in a great neighborhood. The property's been empty for some time. I know that there's a dead-end cul-de-sac on the side of the building that some of the neighbors had spoken of maybe some cars parking that weren't desirable or they didn't live there, but I think having a constant presence would definitely help maybe keep some undesirables away from the park. It's bringing more income into the neighborhood. The business hours are definitely during the day, so there wouldn't be any traffic late at night, and I think it's nice. I think that it would definitely bring a nice aspect to the neighborhood that wasn't previously there, and income towards Benton Park Cafe and some of the other businesses in the neighborhood.
Questions from the board? Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else in support who would like to testify, please come forward and be sworn in.
Raise your right hand, please. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Would you state your name for the board, please?
Janelle Beach,
And your address?
3169 Portis Avenue, St. Louis 63116. I am in favor of Lucky Cat opening for a couple of reasons. First, I think that the art community in this particular area of St. Louis is thriving, and it's important to have more of the art community coming in that is more lucrative in a business standpoint that's bringing taxes into the city. I also am in favor of more female-owned small businesses sprouting up around St. Louis, and the level of passion and professionalism that I've seen Amanda exhibit is top-notch, so I'm hoping that this works out for her.
Questions from the board? Thank you very much. Anyone else in support who wishes to testify, please come forward and be sworn in.
Would you raise your right hand, please? Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Would you state your name for the board, please?
Alex Jensen, 2627 Armand Place. So I'm a little biased, being as Amanda's my wife. However, I will say this. From a pragmatic standpoint, tattoo as of 2012 was a $2.3 billion industry. So adding that into South City in another way, especially a female-owned business, really adds diversity. And like it's been said before, is continuing to provide a commercial venue for the local arts community. It also adds diversity within the neighborhood. Having an all-female shop thus far, I think, is adding to the vibrancy of South City. Obviously, I can speak very highly and at great length about Amanda's character, but she is a passionate, loving person, and I think she's a good fit for Benton Park. So,
Questions from the board? Thank you. Anyone else in favor of the application who wishes to testify, please come forward and be sworn in.
Would you raise your right hand, please? Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, I do.
State your name for the board, please.
K-Toll LaRue Flag,
Address, please.
2845 Minnesota, St. Louis, Missouri, 63118.
Go ahead.
I'm just in support of Amanda because she not only is a very professional person, but a very talented artist, and I support her art wholeheartedly.
Okay. Questions from the board? Thank you very much. Anyone else in favor of the application who wishes to testify, please come forward and be sworn in. Seeing none, if there's anyone in opposition to the application who wishes to testify, please come forward and be sworn in. Seeing none, the matter concerning hearing number 8187 is now closed and submitted. The board will now continue with its regular agenda. After the regular agenda, the board will deliberate and vote on the hearing. Can you call the roll, please?
Director Scobie. Here. Director Rundy. Here. Director Hayes is excused. Director Roth is excused. Director Moore. Here. Director Gray.
Here.
And President Bradley.
Here, we have a quorum. I'll call the meeting to order.
From the President, plans and specifications for letting number 8609, Fairground Park Skating Rink Improvements, Project 2014-87-151. PSA number 1120, partial condition assessment of the water distribution system valves, HPZ, City of St. Louis Water Division. PSA number 1183, environmental consultant services at city-owned facility, St. Louis, Missouri. Supplemental agreement number 1 to PSA number 1172, design services for liberal arts bridge replacement, Muni tributary enhancements, and government drive improvements, Forest Park, St. Louis, Missouri. From the President, Director of Public Utilities and Streets, joint recommendation that permit for CRG Services Management, LLC, for reconstruction of alley north of project, relocation of existing overhead electric, and reconstruction of existing sidewalk along property's southern boundary on Delmar at 6105 Delmar. Recommends approval subject to certain conditions. The Sheldon Arts Foundation for public improvements consisting of pre-seed concrete pavers set in bituminous setting bed over 5 inches reinforced concrete slab over compacted sub-base material to be placed over entirety sidewalk between street, curb, and property line at 3648 Washington. Recommends approval subject to certain conditions. From the Director of Public Utilities and Streets, joint recommendation that the following permits be approved subject to certain conditions as follows. Union Electric Company doing business as Amarin, Missouri, to construct new conduit duct banks within Walnut at 1100 Walnut. And AT&T Missouri from driveway at 3212 Ivanhoe, board to place a new 2x3x2 handhold at 6594 Scanlon. From handhold at 6594 Scanlon, board to new 17 by 30 by 24 inch handhold at 6596 Scanlon. From handhold at 6586 Scanlon, board to rise pole at 6591 Scanlon, etc. From the Director of Public Utilities and Public Safety, joint recommendation that the following permits be approved subject to certain conditions as follows. PC Metals, Inc., to consolidate land at 3800 through 20 North 2nd, 3810 North 1st, and 100 Bremen in City Block 1933. MW Recycling, LLC, to consolidate land at 3101 through 03, 3131 through 33, 3145 North Broadway, 3116 North 9th Street, 810, 814, 816 through 18 Dock, and 830 Dock in City Block 309W. The Washington University consolidate land at 700 through 28 South Euclid in City Block 4783. Washington University Medical Center to re-subdivide land at 4534 through 74, 4580, 4588 Clayton, 4579 West Pampin Street, 825 and 825 F. Taylor. Urban Home Owner LLC to re-subdivide land at 3000 through 3002 and 3004 Texas in City Block 1981. And TLG 634 North Grand LLC to subdivide land at 634 North Grand in City Block 106. Massman and Associates LLC for a boundary adjustment at 4384 and 4388 McPherson in City Block 3909. From the Director of Streets, joint recommendation that the following permits be approved subject to certain conditions as follows. World Chess Museum to place planters on sidewalk at 4652 Maryland. Union Loafers, Inc., to encroach with Sidewalk Cafe utilizing 240 square feet at 1629 Tower Grove Avenue. St. Louis University to install a pedestrian crosswalk sign and base at 3523 Olive. Historic Lafayette Church LLC to encroach with the new fence and gates at 1900 and 1908 Lafayette. Central West End Business Community Improvement District to encroach with 40 planter pots to be placed on the east side of Kings Highway, north of Lindell. Planter will line the curb, leaving the required clearance on the sidewalk for pedestrians and from other items. Recommendation that 2 permits be filed, duplicate applications for South Grand Community Improvement District to encroach with wood and steel planter boxes to replace existing concrete pots at 3500 through 3518 Hartford. And South Grand Community Improvement District to encroach with wood and steel planter boxes to replace existing concrete pots at 3517 through 21 Juanita. From the Director of Public Safety, we have 12 festival zones recommending approval. Downtown STL, Inc., all Fridays and Saturdays starting April 15 through September 10, 2016, May 22nd, July 3rd, September 4th, 2016, at the Washington Corridor, Washington between 10th, St. Charles, 16th, and Lucas from 10 p.m. to 4 a.m. St. Louis Swap Meet at Cherokee Street between Limb and Jefferson, closing 3400 Salina from Cherokee to the alley, April 24, 2016. Relay for Life American Cancer Society at Kaufman and Pokers Park, Chestnut between 14th and Tucker, 13th between Piney and Market between Tucker and 14th, April 30th, 2016. Group 360 Dodgeball Tournament on Washington between Tucker and 14th, May 6, 2016. Crawfish Boil in Soulard at 10th between the alley of Allen and Soulard on May 21st, 2016. Bark in the Park at Central Fields and Run Route in Forest Park on May 21st, 2016. Iron Barley at Virginia between Bates and Fasten, May 30th, 2016. Uncork Wine and Jazz at Kaufman and Pokers Park, Chestnut, 13th and Market on June 3rd through the 4th, 2016. Our Lady of Sorrows at Our Lady of Sorrows Catholic Church grounds, roads between Kings Highway and Macklin, June 7, 2016. St. Stephen's Parish Picnics is at 3949 Wilmington Avenue at the Churchyard and Streets on June 8, 2016. St. Gabriel's Parish Picnic at St. Gabriel's Parish Grounds, Francis Park and surrounding streets, Nottingham, Tam, and Childress on June 11, 2016. VBS Party for the Grace and Peace Fellowship at Clara and Delmore Cul-de-sac, July 16, 2016. Now we'll have the conditional uses.
Good afternoon, Mr. President, members of the board. My name is Dylan Mosier, zoning plan examiner for the City of St. Louis, representing the building commissioner. Per board order number 766, transmitted herewith are recommendations for the following conditional use agenda applications. Approval with conditions is recommended for 6 applications. 1536 Sanford, 4061B Martin Luther King Boulevard, 3216 Merrimack, 4251 South Kings Highway, 4571 Gravois, 1400 North Market. I request that these recommendations be approved as submitted.
Are there any questions on the conditional uses? Seeing none, I'll take a motion, please.
Motion to accept the conditional uses.
Have a motion and a second. Can you call the roll, please?
Director Scobie.
Aye.
Director Rundy.
Aye.
Director Hayes is excused. Director Roth is excused. Director Moore.
Aye.
Director Gray.
Aye.
And President Bradley.
Aye, approved. I'd like to open discussion on hearing number 8187, which is a proposed tattoo parlor, 1974 through 76 Arsenal.
Based on all of the information that we've received, I didn't see that there was a tremendous amount of opposition to it. Am I missing anything? I just want to make sure.
So we just have basically 2 opposition emails. We don't have any indication from the alderman. Okay. And we had the support that was present, so. Okay. Any other questions or comments? Somebody like to make a motion?
Make a motion that we accept the hearing for, put on my glasses and see, for Be My Canvas, Lucky Cat Studio to operate their tattoo parlor at 1974 Arsenal.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second to approve. Can you call the roll, please?
Director Scobie. Aye. Director Rundy. Aye. Director Hayes is excused. Director Roth is excused. Director Moore.
Aye.
Director Gray.
Aye.
And President Bradley.
Aye, approved. Let's turn your attention to our meeting minutes from last Tuesday, April the 12th. Are there any corrections, subtractions, additions to the minutes as presented? Seeing none, I'll take a motion, please.
Motion to accept the minutes?
Moved and seconded for approval. Can you call the roll, please?
Director Scobie. Aye. Director Rundy. Aye. Director Hayes is excused. Director Roth is excused. Director Moore.
Aye.
Director Gray.
Aye.
And President Bradley.
Aye, minutes are approved. Today's agenda, are there any questions or comments on the agenda? Seeing none, I'll take a motion, please.
Motion to accept today's agenda?
Second, previous rule.
Okay, I have a motion and a second to accept. Call for the use of previous rule. Is there any objection to use of previous rule? Seeing none, the agenda is approved. Motion for adjournment, please.
So moved.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Meeting adjourned.